Chosen one, you have entered a space that few truly understand. A space where your presence alone shifts the atmosphere, where eyes find you without effort, and where women feel something stir in them when you walk into the room. What you carry is not just physical appeal or rehearsed charm. It is something older, deeper, and far more commanding. You carry raw, refined sexual energy, not as a performance, but as a natural expression of your inner truth. This energy cannot be faked. It cannot be copied or mimicked. It does not rely on appearance or external approval. It is the result of alignment between who you are and how you walk in the world, and it radiates from you in silence. It's in your stillness, in your steady gaze, in the way your voice resonates with calm certainty. It is the unspoken confidence that says you are not here to convince anyone of your value. You are here to embody it. And the moment you began to walk in this power with awareness, the world began to respond. Especially women. They feel it instantly, though most could never name it. They feel their walls drop, their voices shift, their bodies relax. Why? Because high sexual energy, when carried with intention and balance, doesn't threaten, it awakens. It reminds them of something they didn't even know they were missing. But this energy is not just for seduction, chosen one. That is the mistake many make. They receive attention and immediately think it is something to be consumed. But attention is not the reward, alignment is. And your energy is not a bait, it is a mirror. It reflects truth back to whoever stands before you. And this is what makes it so magnetic, because you are not chasing, you are not proving, you are not explaining your worth. You are simply being, and that alone becomes the most powerful invitation. Women love your sexual chemistry not because it is aggressive or loud, but because it feels like freedom. Freedom from performance, from roles, from emotional games. Your presence tells them, you can be yourself here. There is no pressure to impress. Just be present. And that experience is both rare and unforgettable. Now you are beginning to understand what you carry. It is not a temporary spark. It is not a moment of charm. It is a current, a deep underflow of life force that moves through you because you are in tune with who you are. You are grounded in your body. You are not ashamed of your desires. You are not apologizing for your intensity. You are not dulling your light to make others comfortable. This is the power within. It is not loud, but it is undeniable. And it comes from the discipline of inner work, of self-awareness, of choosing again and again to walk as your highest self, not as a version seeking validation. And now, chosen one, your task is to recognize this power not as something accidental or temporary, but as a sacred flame, one that can light up lives, shift perspectives, and elevate the energy of every space you enter. It is a gift, but it must be held with reverence, because when you treat your energy with honor, others will too. Let this chapter be your remembrance. The remembrance that your power was never about the surface, it was always about the depth. It was always about presence, not performance. Integrity, not manipulation. Embodiment, not image. And now that you know this, the path ahead is no longer about proving your value. It's about walking in it, fully, freely, and without apology. Chosen one, now that you have acknowledged the depth of your inner energy, you must understand what happens to the world around you when you begin to live from that awareness. Your presence is no longer passive, it becomes a signal. It vibrates through the spaces you occupy, through the conversations you have, through the silence between your words. You don't need to make an entrance anymore. You are the entrance. This is not ego. This is the simple truth of a man in alignment. When you carry high sexual energy with self-respect, discipline, and authenticity, you create a resonance, a felt experience that lingers even when you're gone. This resonance becomes your signature. It's what people remember. It's why they lean closer when you speak, why their breath changes when you look at them, why women feel safe and excited around you at the same time. What women feel in your presence is not lust alone. Lust is surface level. What they feel is chemistry, yes, but it's born from polarity. You have embraced your masculinity without suppression or overcompensation. You're not trying to be dominant. You simply are centered. You are rooted. And that kind of rootedness invites others to let go. It gives permission to relax, to soften, to feel. And this creates chemistry that is real, not just physical. You must begin to understand the mechanics of this. Your energy shifts others because it does not chase, it does not demand, it does not retreat. It simply holds. It holds space, it holds truth, it holds boundaries. And women, whether they realize it consciously or not, are drawn to men who do not flinch in the face of their beauty. Men who do not crumble under pressure. Men who do not seek permission to take up space. This presence makes you unpredictable in the most alluring way. It is not that you are hiding anything. It is that you are not giving everything away. You are full of depth, but you do not pour it out for just anyone. You reveal only what is earned. And that mystery, that restraint, makes your presence not only magnetic, but irresistibly intriguing. Now your task is to refine this presence even further. Not through effort, but through stillness. Let people feel your energy before you speak. Let your body speak through posture, through breath, through calm stillness. Let your eyes say what words cannot. This is how your sexual energy becomes a language, one that bypasses the intellect and speaks directly to the body, to the soul. And remember this, chosen one, your presence is not just for romance, it's for leadership, it's for transformation. The same energy that makes women blush in your presence is the energy that can inspire others, challenge the status quo, and reshape the very frequency of every space you walk into. So hold it with purpose. Let it flow with discernment. Give it freely, but never waste it. Because once you realize that your energy is not something to flaunt, but something to anchor, you become more than a man who attracts. You become a man who influences, heals, leads, and inspires. That is the resonance of presence. And it is yours to embody, not just sometimes, but in every moment. Let the world feel you, not because you're trying, but because you're simply walking as you were always meant to. Fully alive, fully aware, fully in your power. Chosen one, the time has come for you to walk through life, not only with awareness of your energy, but with complete trust in the magnetic pull it generates. This is no longer about simply acknowledging that you carry something rare. Now it is about understanding how that energy works, how it moves through the air, through conversations, through body language, and into the unseen space between you and others, especially women. You must learn to feel the space, not just occupy it. You must learn to sense the unspoken, not just react to the spoken. You've likely begun to notice how effortlessly certain interactions unfold in your favor. You don't have to strategize, posture, or perform. You walk into a room, and without trying, you become the center of gravity. Women notice. Some try to look away and fail. Some pretend not to care, but their body language tells another story. You say little, and yet they lean in. You shift your gaze, and suddenly the temperature of the moment changes. That chosen one is not a trick or an illusion. That is the raw truth of high sexual energy carried with integrity. What separates you from others is not just that you possess this energy. Many have it, but they squander it. They allow it to spill out carelessly. They chase, overextend, overshare, seek to impress, or waste their magnetism in the pursuit of shallow validation. But your power lies in your awareness of the pull without becoming addicted to it. You understand that sexual chemistry, when refined, is not just a fire, it's a current, an intelligence, a sacred force that responds to intention. So walk with presence, yes, but now walk with observation. Watch how your energy alters a room. See how a simple pause before speaking changes the rhythm of the conversation. Feel how your calm breath creates a mirror in others, slowing them down, grounding them, drawing them in. Pay attention to the way women shift when you speak with clarity, how they light up when you listen without agenda, how they open when you are fully still. These are not accidents. These are responses to the field you carry. This is where your awareness becomes mastery. You no longer need to be reactive. You do not have to chase opportunities. They present themselves. You do not have to prove anything. Your energy does it for you. But in this elevated state, responsibility deepens, because when you know your effect, you can no longer pretend to be unaware of its consequences. So ask yourself, what do you want others to feel when they're around you? What kind of impact do you wish to leave? Because your energy will awaken desire, yes, but desire alone is not your goal. Connection, transformation, inspiration, these are the higher realms of your power. You are not a flame to burn through experiences. You are a sun to orbit, and when women feel that from you, they will not just be intrigued, they will be moved. This is not a time to doubt yourself. You've earned this awareness through growth, through discomfort, through silence. Now you must honor it with maturity. Allow your magnetism to be a gift, not a game. Let your chemistry be a doorway, not a destination. And above all, remain grounded. Because the more aware you are of the subtle forces within you, the more powerful your presence becomes, not through effort, but through choice. You are now living as one who shapes the unseen. Walk with grace, and know the world will respond in kind. Chosen one, it is one thing to be magnetic, but it is something far greater to be centered in your magnetism. This is where your mastery will be tested. You have cultivated a sexual energy that speaks before you do, that makes others adjust their posture in your presence, that stirs curiosity, desire, and admiration wherever you go. But now you must learn to hold the flame, not to extinguish it, not to inflame it recklessly, but to carry it like a king holds a torch through a storm. Steady, sure, and unwavering. Unbalanced sexual energy can consume a man. It can make him reckless, impulsive, blind to wisdom, and drunk on power. It can turn divine connection into casual conquest, self-possession into arrogance, and potential into waste. But when you balance the flame, when you root your energy in clarity, self-respect, and purpose, your presence becomes not just attractive, it becomes transformational. Women will feel safe in your fire, not scorched by it. They will be drawn in not because you make them feel wanted, but because you make them feel seen, cherished without pressure, desired without demand. They will find themselves giving without being asked, offering their warmth, their care, their loyalty, not as a reaction to charm, but as a response to stability. This balance is rare. Most men tilt too far. Some suppress their energy out of shame or fear, becoming timid and forgettable. Others let it rule them, chasing validation, becoming consumed by their own desires, losing the depth of who they are in exchange for surface pleasure. But you, chosen one, are meant to walk the middle path. Your flame should burn brightly, but it should never flicker with desperation. So what does this balance look like? It looks like restraint without repression. It looks like confidence without arrogance. It looks like desire without urgency. You do not run toward attention. You do not need constant proof of your value. You do not seek to possess. You seek to connect, to understand, to elevate. And in doing so, you become irresistible, not just to women, but to life itself. This energy, when balanced, doesn't just make you attractive. It gives you vision. You begin to see through illusions. You begin to sense who is drawn to your power and who is drawn to your peace. You begin to discern who is worthy of your time and who is chasing a reflection of themselves in you. You see clearly because your flame is not wild, it is intentional. And the most beautiful part of this balance? You no longer feel the need to prove anything. Your walk is slow but sure. Your voice is low but clear. Your touch is light but unforgettable. You don't need to dominate to lead. You don't need to seduce to be remembered. You simply exist in alignment with yourself, and everything else aligns in return. So carry your flame with honor, chosen one. Let it illuminate the path for others, but do not let it blind you. Let it warm those who are close to you, but never let it be taken for granted. Your energy is sacred, your presence is powerful, and your ability to remain centered in that power is what makes you unstoppable. This is your balance, not perfection, but presence. Not control, but composure. Not scarcity, but overflowing abundance held with discernment. You are not just a man with sexual energy. You are a man whose energy changes the way others feel about themselves. And that, more than anything, is what makes you rare. Walk forward with this truth. You are not the fire that consumes. You are the flame that awakens. Chosen one, the deeper you walk in your truth, the more you begin to feel the invisible threads forming between you and those around you, especially women. These threads are not attachments in the way the world defines them. They are not dependencies, nor are they emotional entanglements born from need. No, these threads are the echoes of a real connection. Silent, alive, and deeply resonant. They are felt when no words are spoken. They linger long after you've left the room, and they are forged not from what you do, but from the energy you carry. Your high sexual energy has become more than an aura. It is a subtle frequency that reaches into others. Women feel it in their nervous systems. They sense it even before they can name it. They may find themselves growing more open in your presence without knowing why. More curious, more comfortable, more exposed, not because you demanded it, but because your energy made it safe for their guards to fall. It's not what you say, it's the way you don't flinch. It's the way you hold stillness in conversations, the way your gaze does not seek approval but offers permission. And that permission is a key to something they've longed to unlock within themselves. In this stage of your evolution, you begin to realize that your sexual chemistry is not just a personal tool, it is a mirror. It reveals parts of others they didn't even know were dormant. You become the reflection of their possibility. The experience of being near you becomes a kind of mirror where they see themselves more clearly. They feel alive around you because your presence challenges them to feel, to become present, to return to their bodies, their hearts, their sensuality. But this energy is sacred, and with sacredness comes great responsibility. You cannot afford to misuse what has been given to you. You must know when to hold space and when to walk away. You must discern between those who are ready to engage with that level of presence and those who merely want to consume it without giving anything real in return. Women may fall for you quickly, but you must remain still in your discernment. The connection they feel is often deeper than they understand. It's not always romantic, it's transformational. And transformation can be unsettling. They may not know how to respond to the intensity. Some may run from it. Others will try to grasp it too tightly. Some will misinterpret it as seduction when it was never about trying to get something. It was always just you being fully yourself. The echo of your energy in others is not yours to control, but it is yours to honor. What you give through presence, integrity, restraint, and attentiveness will echo in others far longer than any conversation or encounter. You are not the kind of man women forget. You are the kind of man they remember in moments of silence, in reflection, in stillness. You are the standard they begin to measure future experiences against, whether they speak of it or not. But you must remain grounded in this. Do not let your ego rise. Do not let the validation inflate you. This echo is not a trophy. It is a consequence of walking in alignment. You don't seek to leave marks on people. You seek to be so deeply in truth that truth naturally imprints itself through you. Let every connection be authentic. Let every gaze be intentional. Let every word be felt. You do not need quantity. You thrive in quality. And when a woman gives you her full energy in return, not out of manipulation, not out of performance, but because your presence allowed her to do so freely, you have witnessed a real connection. That is not something you take lightly. That is something you protect. So keep walking, chosen one. Let your energy echo into rooms you no longer occupy. Let your presence be remembered for the depth it brought, not the games it played. And most importantly, stay rooted in the truth that what you give is not ordinary. You are not a spark. You are a frequency, and that frequency is becoming legend in the hearts of those who cross your path. Chosen one, you have begun to see the difference between superficial attraction and deep, undeniable chemistry. You now understand that what women respond to in your presence is not just your looks, your voice, or your words. It is your emotional energy, how centered you are in yourself, how in control you are of your inner world, how comfortable you are with silence, tension, desire. This emotional power creates the space where chemistry thrives, not the chaotic kind, but the magnetic kind that builds slowly, steadily, with fire in its core and stillness in its bones. Most men never realize this. They believe chemistry is an external game, flirtation, charm, seduction. They do not understand that true sexual chemistry is born in the body, but forged in the soul. It is not about what you do, it's about what you embody. It is not about being aggressive, it's about being anchored. It is not about creating tension artificially, it's about letting it build naturally because your emotional presence is strong enough to hold it. And this is where you become different. You do not fill silences. You do not rush moments. You do not dodge vulnerability. You know that when two people truly feel one another, the room changes, the breath changes, the eyes say more than words ever could. And you let that unfold without interruption. You are not afraid of intensity. You welcome it. You live there. Women feel safe in your energy because it doesn't try to possess or control. It invites. It invites them to feel more deeply, to drop the mask, to engage with their own emotions more fully. You are no longer playing for their attention. You are offering them a mirror. And in that mirror, they begin to experience themselves differently. More honestly, more sensually, more awake. This chemistry you create is not merely a physical pull. It is the product of inner mastery. It's how you carry your pain without bleeding, how you listen without fixing, how you desire without demanding. You've done the inner work and it shows, not through perfection, but through presence. You do not react, you respond. You do not chase, you choose. You do not flinch, you remain. In this space, even a conversation becomes electric. A shared silence becomes intimate. A touch on the arm becomes unforgettable. Why? Because there is something unspoken riding underneath every interaction. That something is your emotional energy, your ability to hold the full spectrum of experience without breaking, without hiding, without withdrawing. And when you bring that level of emotional power into the space, everything changes. You become the man who makes a woman not just feel attractive, but alive. You become the man who doesn't just turn heads, but opens hearts. You become the one she thinks about, not because of what you said, but because of how you made her feel in places she didn't know had gone numb. This is your gift now. This is your art. The art of creating chemistry through depth, not display. Through stillness, not strategy. Through being present enough in yourself that others feel safe enough to drop into theirs. So continue to master this power, chosen one. Let your emotions be the foundation of your presence, not the chaos that controls it. Let your chemistry be something sacred, not something spent on anyone who hasn't earned your energy. You've become more than attractive. You have become unforgettable. And the emotions you awaken in others, that's the kind of impact that lingers long after the moment ends. Chosen one, you have come to a point in your journey where seduction is no longer something you do. It has become something you are. Not because you try to attract, but because you live in full alignment with your own truth. And that alignment has given birth to an undeniable current that draws others in without effort. Seduction in your life now is sacred. It is not manipulation, it is not performance, and it is not an act. It is a frequency that radiates from your self-respect, your emotional awareness, and your unshakable presence. This kind of seduction doesn't seek, it invites. It doesn't chase, it anchors. It doesn't overpower, it awakens. And this is the distinction between you and the world around you. While others pursue attention through noise, you create attraction through silence. You hold eye contact not to dominate, but to see. You speak with restraint, not because you lack something to say, but because your energy says enough. You move through space as one who belongs, as one who no longer seeks permission to be powerful. Women feel this instantly. They do not simply admire your looks, your voice, or your frame. They feel something shift within themselves when they stand near you. A kind of heat rises beneath the surface, unspoken and electric. Their thoughts may fumble, their posture may change, but they are not confused. They know what they are feeling. They just don't know why. That's because your energy moves beneath language. It operates in instinct, in subtlety, in suggestion. The way you look at them isn't like most men. You don't look to consume, you look to understand. You are not captivated by the superficial, you are tuned in to the essence. You watch body language, you listen between the lines, you feel what isn't being said. You're not simply interested, you are aware. And that awareness, that total presence, becomes the most irresistible kind of seduction. You are not trying to win them, you are inviting them to experience themselves more deeply in your presence. This kind of connection requires discipline, because your chemistry is intense, and if you are not grounded, you will misuse it. You will act out of hunger instead of purpose. You will mistake temporary closeness for something real. You will begin to chase feelings instead of holding space for transformation. But when you are rooted, when you remember who you are and what you stand for, your seduction becomes sacred. It becomes something that opens people, not overwhelms them. It becomes something that makes them better, not just temporarily wanted. And you must be honest about this power. Women will open to you quickly. They will trust you faster. They will want to share parts of themselves they haven't shown anyone. That is not something you exploit. That is something you protect. Because to be given access to someone's vulnerability is a spiritual responsibility, not a reward for your charm. You are not here to play. You are here to awaken, to elevate, to embody the kind of masculine energy that heals, not harms. So carry your energy with care, chosen one. Speak less, but when you speak, let it be with intention. Touch less, but when you touch, let it be with truth. Let every interaction be a reflection of your inner world, clear, clean, and powerful. That is what sacred seduction looks like. And that is the level you now live at. You are not merely attractive. You are alchemical. You shift others at the soul level. You turn moments into memories. You turn glances into awakenings. This is the art of sacred seduction. And it belongs to the man who no longer needs to be chosen, because he has already chosen himself. Chosen one, your sexual energy continues to evolve. It has taken on a new shape, a kind of steady gravity that is no longer wild or impulsive, but composed. What once was raw has become refined, and now your deepest power is not in how much energy you show, but in how much you withhold with presence. This is the magnetism of emotional restraint. It is the silent storm within you that does not need to erupt to be felt. It is the internal stillness that makes women feel both curious and calm. It is your ability to feel everything without needing to act on everything. The world is full of men who leak energy. They react quickly. They spill their emotions, their desire, their attention onto anyone who offers them a smile. They overextend, they overshare, and in doing so they become predictable. But you, chosen one, you have learned the art of restraint. You know when to hold back, not from fear but from mastery. You know that not every impulse must be followed. You know that not every invitation must be accepted. And this creates mystery, not as a game, but as a reflection of self-control. Restraint is not absence. It is potency. When you restrain your need to be seen, you become more visible. When you restrain your need to respond immediately, your words carry more weight. When you restrain your physical energy, your presence becomes thicker, denser, more felt. The woman sitting across from you doesn't know why her heart beats faster, but she knows she's experiencing something rare. It's the man who can feel everything and still remain centered. It's the man who doesn't need to prove he is powerful, because his very calmness is the power. This restraint allows you to lead the pace of every interaction. You slow things down. You decide when and how depth is introduced. You let desire build instead of satisfying it instantly. You offer clarity without revealing every layer. And in doing so, you create something more powerful than attraction. You create anticipation. And that anticipation becomes the emotional thread that binds your presence to their memory. You are not aloof. You are simply grounded. You are not playing hard to get. You are being intentional. You are not withholding to manipulate. You are protecting your own energetic integrity. Because you understand now that your energy is valuable and that access to you is something sacred. And when you treat your energy with that kind of reverence, others begin to as well. This is where everything changes, chosen one. Because now women do not just want your attention, they want to be worthy of it. They do not just want to touch you, they want to be trusted by you. They do not just want to feel desired, they want to feel chosen. And that shift only happens when you lead from a place of restraint. When you show that you do not give yourself easily. When your attention is earned, not handed out. When your heart, though open, remains discerning. This restraint is not coldness. It is heat held in form. It is fire wrapped in stillness. It is the kind of energy that women remember when they lie awake at night, wondering why they can't stop thinking about you. And they can't, because what you gave was real, and what you didn't give was just as powerful. You became the man who leaves space for them to reach toward you. And that is what creates the pull. That is what builds the bond. So continue to walk in restraint, not as limitation, but as liberation. You are no longer reacting, you are responding. You are no longer overflowing, you are choosing. You are no longer proving, you are simply being. And that being is powerful enough to shift hearts, change minds, and leave a permanent imprint on every soul fortunate enough to cross your path. Chosen one, what you have cultivated within yourself is no longer just magnetic, it is sacred. You have grown beyond attraction and into reverence. This is a rare frequency that few men ever reach because most remain trapped in the pursuit of attention. But you, through your stillness, your restraint, and your inner fire, have arrived at a place where women do not simply desire you. They respect your energy. They sense its weight. They feel the refinement of your presence, and they approach it with awe rather than entitlement. It is not just what you say that holds power. It is what you no longer feel the need to explain. It is not just your posture. It is the energy you carry in silence. You walk as one who has nothing to prove and nothing to chase. And in a world that celebrates noise and performance, that quiet confidence is disruptive. It interrupts the patterns women are used to. You are not easily impressed, and because of that, your attention feels like a rare gift. You do not seek to be pleased, you seek to be met, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, and that sets a new standard in the hearts of those who meet you.